Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
Welcome to this week's episode of First and Goal. This week we've got primetime coronavirus. We've got D-Muse, DW, and Dan. He's got his mask on. Don't worry, Dan. I made sure to keep these boxes 6 feet apart, so we should all be socially distanced, and we can all safely.
I feel safer now. Feel safer.
All right, so let's go ahead and we'll start with topic one. And I actually don't have the topics in front of me right now, so let me pull them back up. But topic one, so we had a lot of talk about Dump and QP for the NFC, right? And then this week, both of them ended up losing. I think in the last 2 weeks, they've lost 3 games combined. If neither makes it out of the NFC, who do you think does? And we'll start with you, Dan.
Look, I mean, the NFC is basically for, we have no freaking clue what's going on with the NFC. Pardon my language there. No, don't want to be too offensive to the listeners out there. But you got Dump getting smacked by NYT. NYT getting smacked by Tiny. You got Paulie getting smacked by Clink. Clink, wasn't winning anything before that. QP getting beat by D-Muse. I really have no clue. In the 11, maybe 13 seasons I've been in the SML, this is probably the most wide open I've ever seen a conference. I think there's probably 12 teams that can probably make it. And because Prime, made that horrible trade, I think Clinky might be the favorite. So I'm going to go with Clinky.
Okay. Yeah, and then you talk about him. He lost to Spooky, which may have been the easiest game I've played in my time in the SML. So it's just crazy how that NFC is, and it's just going to be anybody's to win. But what do you think, DW?
Well, I mean, not to run exactly off of what Dan said, but
no, feel free to
Dan's exactly right. No, I'm not going to do that. Actually, I still like Paulie, man. Paulie beat the living snot out of me when we played, and he's really the only one this season that Bomber, you whooped my ass too, but Paulie there in the NFC, man, he's just a really great player. I think. I mean, I don't know. He had a really good offseason too. Hopefully, he can turn that around and win that. But I mean, D-Muse, another guy right there, another great player. Obviously, I'd love to see Clink, but Clink worries me. If you look at the stats and stuff, I mean, he's thrown a ton of interceptions so far this year. And obviously, you can't do that to win anything in this league. But I think Paulie's going to turn things around. I know he just got beat pretty bad the other day too. Can't remember who it was.
Clinky.
But yeah, I'm gonna roll Paulie. I'm gonna roll Paulie if those other two guys don't make it.
Okay. D-Muse, you're our lone NFC representative on the show. What do you think?
Yeah, I saw someone the other day in chat call it the No Freaking Clue Conference, and yeah, I think it was Dan. And I think that's the best way to explain it. I've never been in a conference that I felt was this wide open. I've been struggling so far this cycle. Now, I'm not confident in myself, but I go in every week now saying maybe I can take the NFC if I get hot. I don't think I'm there. I'm not feeling it well enough on my side, but I think QP and Dump are clearly still the favorites. But if I have to throw someone else out there, Noel looks all right. I know we're going to get to him a little later looking at these topics, so I'll save that discussion for that. I want to say Paulie just because the Bucks have a lot of talent on that team, and he needs to send Tom out with some sort of winning pedigree here at the end, right? Tom can't go out on his back. I don't think Paulie's going to let that happen, so I think Paulie will claw back into it and be somewhere near the top by the end of this. But really, I mean, I agree. It's wide open. It's insane. No freaking clue.
All right, and Prime, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that, like it's been mentioned, it's between Clinky and Paulie, and I think especially early we're going to see Clinky get the edge over Paulie. I think Clinky's got the mental edge over Paulie, but also Paulie's a little bit like me in the sense of early in each cycle, he's kind of trash. He's coaching right now. He's got some stuff going on where he's not going to be able to dedicate his full time to Madden. Now, here's something to think about. When Tom Brady retires and Paulie gets Trey Lance from Fig, because you know it's going to happen, that's going to be when Paulie gets better, because you see him move around with Brady, and he can't quite – Brady's like one of the slowest quarterbacks in the game. Paulie is itching for a mobile quarterback, and when Brady's gone, I think we're going to see a major uptick in Paulie's offense when he has that mobility, and that's when he's going to become a real competitor in the NFC.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think, especially this year, you need a mobile quarterback, or at least somebody, not a statue.
But one final comment: who cares? Because the AFC is just going to railroad them.
Well, that's at the end of the day, that's really
Given.
the way it's going to go anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so we've talked a lot about teams and they're having success. I mean, everybody talks about the dumps, the QPs, the entire AFC for the most part. But we don't talk about the teams that aren't doing so well. So, DW, we'll start with you. But who are the worst 3 teams that you can think of that you've played?
You know me. I went the stats route on this because that's normally a good, pretty tell-so on how people are performing during the season. My number one, I'm gonna go from the worst to the third worst. So I think the worst team in the league right now is probably TTS with the Falcons. He's ranked 31st in offense. He leads the league in interceptions with 19. He's got a negative 11 turnover difference. That's just not very good at all. Number 2, actually, and what's really even more funny about this is these are all NFC teams. Number 2, I'm going to have to go with Colt with the Rams. He's got the worst defense in the league right now, and he's also given up the most points on defense. So you're not going to win any games if you're playing like that. And then last of my top 3, Figs. I hated the offseason moves. I hate even what Prime just said. I'm hoping he does. Do not trade Trey Lance. Do not trade Trey Lance. Please, don't do that. Figs is also 30th in points, and he's 31st in defensive yards given up. So those are my worst 3 in the league right now.
All right. So we're actually going to rename second down from now on, the DW down, and we're just going to shit on somebody on second down all the time, since that seems to be DW's favorite thing. D-Muse, how about you? Who are the 3 worst players in the SML, in your opinion?
I'm going to have to start with Fins. Great guy. I know he's in a hard conference, hard division, but you had the number 1 pick for a reason. You start 0-6. You have to be in the bottom 3. There's hope for a turnaround here with the rookie quarterback and some other young pieces he's brought in, but for right now, he's got to be in the bottom 3. I agree with the Falcons. Terrible 2-step. 11 points per game. That's just not going to cut it. I actually had to do a double take when I saw that. And the Falcons beat my Saints yesterday. So I'm going to take this opportunity to shit on the Falcons a little bit. My third team, KJ, another great guy. That hurts me to say, but I mean, you have the 32nd ranked defense. It's hard to win. You're allowing 36 points per game. Your point differential is about 13 a game, 1-4. I think right now you would have to be in the bottom 3. So I have the worst offense, the worst defense, and Fins.
All right, Prime, how about you?
Yeah, so I mean, let's get the obvious out of the way first. Fins, he's struggling right now. He's going through it. He took that quarterback. The team is actually a pretty solid team as well, and he's just going through it right now. We'll say that. My other 2, I took this a different route than I think everybody else did. I want to have a little fun with it. My second really bad guy is Dump. Whenever he opens his mouth, whenever Dump opens his mouth, bad things happen. There's a point where he's doing good and he builds up his confidence, and right before he talks trash, he is a good player. Then this season he comes in, he's like, oh, I'm going to beat Prime this year, I'm going to beat Dan week 18, and then he gets clapped by NYT. Last year he was talking to Bomber, he gets clapped by Bomber. I mean, this guy, whenever he talks, he loses. He's just got to stop. Now, my third guy, I wasn't even going to take a shot at this guy, but I was trying to sleep last night and he tagged me, and so it's Grams. Grams, whenever somebody believes in Grams or said something nice about him, Grams disappoints. Last year he had the NFC East just in his hands. That was his division to be had, and then he loses like 4 of his last 5, loses division. This year, again, it's a winnable division. We kicked one of the better guys that would have been in there, and then he starts off with 2-3, loses to Noel, and gets destroyed by QP. So I got to say Grams.
All right, and Dan, how about you?
Well, I got to take a drink here. I got Prime in this group. I had to get some of that for just in case, didn't know what was going to happen in this 1st and goal. anyways, I'm not going after Fins. Obviously, that's, you can look at the numbers, you can look at the stats, but I played him. He actually played me really tough. I think he's really improving. So, Fins, man, keep it up. AFC West for life. I'm going to go, first of all, Spooky. I watched a little bit of the game against Bomber, and I don't know if he just was frustrated. I don't know what was going on, but I mean, Bomber literally played a quarter and a half, and it was like 45-0. I've also got to throw in, and I hate to do it because they're good guys, but KJ, I got to put KJ in there right now. He's got a good squad. The Giants are a good squad, and Madden got a lot of speed, got a lot of talent, and he's just struggling right now. And then terrible two-step, I'm going to put in there as well too. Just not able to deliver, and put any real wins together. So I got the terrible two-step as my third worst.
All right. So let's go with something before we'll take a break from shitting on people. And Demius, we'll start with you.
Did you guys see? Did you see how Death Wish lit up in that topic? I mean, it was like 1,000
yeah, he did.
suns.
That's why I said we're gonna just rename second down from now on for the rest of first and goal's lifetime. The second down will be the DW down, and somebody's getting shit on. So we'll start with Demius. We'll take a break from the shitting. And Demius, have you noticed any difference with the new update? We just had that big update, supposedly changing pass defense. You notice any difference?
I think I have. And I was wondering what happened to sort of change my fortunes on defense, because I was struggling last year, and right now I'm 4th in points allowed, and I was hopeful that maybe I was getting better at the game, but I was reminded that there was a new update, and I think some people may be adjusting to it. But I've definitely noticed stronger play from the safety spots. I've noticed more zones, jumping routes. That's in my last 2 games. Honestly, I did not read up on the update much, and I was really hoping I was not going to be first on this question. But
oh, so you could just copy someone else's answer. I like it. That's good.
Exactly. No, that was the strategy going in. But I don't know. I think I have noticed a change with the update, and if I haven't and everyone else goes against me, then maybe the Vikings are improving. I don't know. I'll hold my tongue on that one.
All right, Prime, how about you?
Yeah, I think they're just very minor changes. And I think we talked about this in a previous episode. EA's taken this in a way that I can appreciate, where it's not major changes all at once. So they're trying to fix a thing here and a thing there with each patch. And I believe it's working because when you look at the SML, I think the leading pass yard guy is Lamar Jackson, and through 6 games he averages under 300 yards per game passing, which is a big deal because last year we had a bunch of guys over 300 yards passing, and I think a few guys over 5,000 yards passing. So pass defense is getting better. The one thing I haven't noticed as much is guys rolling out and defenders completely going crazy. I think they still do, but I don't think it's as bad either. And I think Cover 3 reacts a little bit better, but it's still not quite there yet. But I like that EA is making incremental changes instead of trying to break the game all in one swing.
All right. How about you, Dan? I know you've probably looked into this more than anybody.
Well, the biggest thing they did is they didn't crash the game like they did in October. So we didn't have to go through 3-4 days of dysyncs and all that stuff happening. But this one was minor. They definitely tweaked Cover 3, so that was the focus on this one. And I wouldn't say there's drastic change, but what's better is the guys that you want them to play where you want them to play, or where you tell them to play, they actually play where you tell them. That's all I ask. Like, you know what? It's my job to know what the offense is doing and to tell my guys where to go, and then I use their cover, whatever else. But if my CPU isn't going where I need them to go, or they just abandon one side, it's just a train wreck. So it's gotten a lot better with that. There's not as many broken stuff, and guys that kind of relied, even though what Prime said, a little bit on the rollout, broken plays, or the deep drop backs and waiting for the crossers. Those kind of things aren't quite there as much. And I think that's why you're seeing some of the scores that you're seeing right now, is because guys relied on that stuff. It's gone, and now they're being exposed. So I think we'll see a little bit more of that for the next few weeks.
All right, and DW, how about you?
Yeah, I hate following Dan on these because he says everything that I wanted to say. The only thing I've written down is Cover 3. I feel like it's covering or playing better than what it normally does. Other than that, I haven't noticed a whole ton with the update. I've also only played 2 games since the update came out, so I'll have more once I play some more games. But cover 3 was the number one thing that I noticed. And I run a lot of it, so I noticed it's covering better than it was in the past. Even covering underneath routes and stuff like that. If you audible or hot route to that. So
How's that
that's
blitz
it.
working? You still run a lot too. Is that working still well?
That blitz?
The blitz you run all the time?
Yeah, I love that blitz. Shut up, man.
We've all picked up on the blitz. In fact, 5 bonus points for showing me that blitz because now I used it.
You're welcome.
Wait,
right.
what's the blitz? I need to go watch Death.
I just watched DW's game.
Just
It's
watch
every
one of my
third play.
streams.
Yeah.
I'll use up all 5 of them before halftime.
Okay.
All right, so fourth topic, and we'll get back to shitting on people. So Noel won 10 games last season, but I think he only beat one team with a winning record, and that was NYT, who barely had a winning record. This season, though, he's got a win over the Raiders, who up until today had a winning record. He's beaten Meats, who up until this season had a winning record. He also played dump to a 3-point game. He had a sim win over the Cowboys. I think he plays dump yesterday, so maybe that'll get played by tomorrow. But have you seen enough from Noel to say he's back, or is this just because he's playing in that weak NFC? And Prime, we'll start with you.
Yeah, no, he's not back. And if by back you mean is he back to being mediocre, then yes. He went from bad to mediocre. And look, he plays in a division. I know Dump's there, but he's got Colt 45 and he's got Fig in his division. So that should be 2 circle wins each year. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I mean, anytime a guy kicks a field goal on 3rd down, I think that it's going to take a while for him to gain the respect, at least my respect. And he kicked the field goal on 3rd down, won the game, but it was against old 500 Mike in the AFC South. So there's that.
All right. How about you, Dan?
So early on, and we're still early on, only kind of not even halfway through the second season. Team talent really dictates a lot of people's success. And this Madden with the Seahawks, you've got Russell Wilson, who's got escape artists. Now he's got an X Factor running back. I think I heard he has tank or something, so a good ability. He's got DK. He's got 2 playmakers on defense. So I think his team's going to carry him for a little bit, but I don't think he's back. He might get into the playoffs, but 2 years ago when I entered in SML and everyone, before he fell through the roof, everyone was talking about Noel being this guy that can beat Sunday or can push this and that, and I still haven't seen it. So I'm show me kind of state. So show me Noel before I start to believe in you.
All right, DW, we're stepping into your wheelhouse here. Go ahead and shit on him.
I know you're expecting me to shit all over him, but I'm actually not. I've seen improvement out of Noel. I've watched even a couple of his streams so far this year. He's beaten guys that you wouldn't expect to beat, which is good. I mean, compared to last year, here comes the shitting on part. You see Noel on your schedule. It's not a game that you're worried about a lot.
Whoa.
For me. I'm just kidding, man. I didn't lose to Noel at all last year. But yeah, no, I've seen major improvement, man. I think Noel is resurging. I think he might he might take on Dump in that division. We'll see.
All right, let's not get carried away. We'll edit the rest of that out. That's not good for television. But D-Muse, what do you think about Noel? Try to take it easier after DW. Just let him have it, even though nobody can hear the really bad stuff because I edited that out.
Right. Well, I don't know how you could say that, DW. That was just brutal. But I didn't see Noel 2 cycles ago. I've heard that he was a lot better than he was last cycle, but my knowledge on this question is based off of what I saw last cycle, and I see vast improvement. He's off to a hot start this year. He went 10-7 last year, and a lot of the hate is that he didn't beat teams with winning records, which is fair to an extent, but there are a ton of guys in the SML who would kill to be able to beat guys who don't have a winning record consistently. And he took care of business last year against those teams that he should beat. His next step is to beat the good teams, and he's hung with a couple early this season. So if he can keep going on the upward trajectory, I think this could be a bounce back cycle for Noel. And like we said earlier, the NFC is wide open. So all it takes is a little 5-game hot streak to end the season, and who knows where you can find yourself. So I'm going to be nice to Noel on this one. So yeah, I think he's improved from last cycle, and I don't know if he's fully back to what he was before I joined, but he's back in some way.
All right, that's fair. And I'm
can I
glad
ask
you
a
were
question?
nicer. Oh, great. DW has more to say on this. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't here. Obviously, for the cycle when Noel was dominating everything. How many seasons ago or cycles ago was that?
That was not last cycle, but the cycle before. I believe he was a top 5 player at the end of the season. Was he on the top 5 video?
He was on the edge for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what have you guys noticed that has gone bad then?
Last cycle.
Oh,
The
just last
cycle,
time.
the cycle Noel was good. He actually was a top 5 pick in the player draft for a while, and he got a good running back. And somehow through that, he made a late playoff run, but he never really did too much. A lot more of it was just hype, like he was a fad guy.
Okay, so Noel was never good. He's completely overrated from the beginning. Got it. You could have just said that. I mean, even DW
Prime,
wasn't that mean.
don't you play Noel soon, Prime? Don't you play him soon?
Probably. Who knows? That's what we call it.
Prime's got the COVID. He don't care anymore. He's just
I don't care anymore.
he's just letting it all out while he's on his deathbed.
I just hope I make it to that game.
All right. Well,
Keep drinking up.
despite DW's 45-minute rant that we had to edit, we have a 69 all tie. So we're going to have a bonus question. And that bonus question, what are your thoughts on sky kicks? There's a little bit of rumbling in the underground of the SML that some people aren't happy that people are sky kicking and kicking it short to the fullback instead of kicking it to, I don't know, Henry Ruggs and his 98 speed and 9 yards deep in the end zone so he can run it out for a touchdown. What do you think about that, Dan? We'll start with you.
Yeah, no, I love these topics because I think they're important, especially when my wife calls me right in the middle of answering that important question.
Priorities, Dan. Priorities.
Each game, each Madden has uniquenesses to it. This one, there seems to be a uniqueness to the kickoff return. Past Maddens had a uniqueness where you could scrub kick or whatever term you use to the fullback and then get him to fumble. I don't see that happening this one, but I do see the OP of the kick return. So if you're choosing to put someone like Ruggs, which in the NFL you would never put your superstar wide receiver back there to returning kicks, but you do in this one, I think you got to live with the fact that guys aren't going to kick to him. So I choose not to kick to him, but ultimately in all these situations it comes down to the house rules. What does SML say? Then we got to abide by it. But if I had a say in it, I would say you kind of bring that on yourself when you put Ruggs back there. And as long as that fullback isn't regularly fumbling, there's no glitch in the fullback, I think that's part of the strategy of the game.
All right, DW, there's really not anybody for you to shit on here, so I don't know if you just want me to skip you, but go ahead.
No, I personally don't have a problem with it. Normally, if you do a sky kick, you get the ball at like the 20, maybe 25 with your fullback. I know it doesn't help you out with it going to the fullback, but if you're trying, it's a defensive move, honestly, because you're trying to not get that ball, in this case, to Ruggs to return it on you. I've had a bunch of kicks return on me in the last season and a half here. I don't have a problem with it.
All right. Demius?
I have no problem with it. It's honestly a feature of the game that I forget exists like 99% of the time. But really, it's another form of defense, right? Your goal on defense is to shut down the offense's best player. If you see someone throwing to their running back all the time, you see someone running the same route, same receiver, you're going to do something to stop it. So if you're concerned that the kickoff might go for a touchdown, you're going to stop it. And it is something that you see on Sundays. The Falcons did it to the Saints yesterday. I was watching that game. They kept it away from Deontay Harris, and they kicked it to our actual fullback. They did it in real life. So it's something you see on Sundays. You're mitigating the risk of having one of those explosive players score and you maybe cost you a game. So I see nothing wrong with it.
All right, and Prime, what about you?
So a few years ago, when EA added in the new kickoff, or really kick meter, you had the option of a sky kick, a squib kick, and just basically kick off normal, all by pushing a button when you're at the kickoff screen. Around that time, there's a glitch going around called the scum kick or the scrub kick, where if you would kick it to the right, a fullback or tight end would catch it, like Dan would say, and you could come in with one of your gunners and hit the guy, and he would fumble it. We wrote that rule. I believe it still might be in our rule book that's illegal to do that, especially with that intent, because there's a special way you would do it. You would aim your kick thing to the right, you would kick it about halfway, and there's a whole set of things you would do to do this. What I see right now is guys putting Henry Ruggs type of guys, Tyreek Hill type of guys back there. And as a way to counteract that in the chess game that is SML, people are directionally kicking it, and not necessarily even kicking it short all the time, but directionally kicking it to the right and maybe setting their kickoff coverage to the right. I don't see anything malicious behind that. Now, if it comes out that this, like Dan said, the guys are getting hit and they're fumbling it all the time, then we'd have to look at it. But I think we need to look at two things. One, we probably need to turn up the injury slider, because if you're comfortable with putting your best player back at returns and he's not getting hurt or fatigued, then we need to look at that. And two, there's always got to be a way to counter something in a sim league, especially because there's all like people would squib it to Hester, you not kick it to Hester, they'd kick out of bounds. So I think it's only right, and there's nothing terrible coming out of this so far.
Yeah, I would say, obviously, my experience with kickoff returns has been well documented. That I think I've given up 4 or 5 kickoff touchdowns. We've got, I think, 6 kickoff returns for touchdowns in the SML through not even 6 weeks yet. I don't think there's maybe 2, one in the NFL, maybe 2. And sure as shit, nobody's taking it from 9 yards deep with Henry Ruggs. So even if there was a rule against sky kicking, I'm kicking it out of bounds every time, because I'd rather give it to you at the 35 than you're 1 in every 5 going for 60 yards at a minimum. So, yeah,
I got something else to add to that, if you don't mind, real quick. Just that question.
Somebody.
Prime, what about instead of increasing injuries, you just cap the amount of speed that's allowed for a returner?
I don't know. I think the guys get. I mean, you can sign guys as kick returners. It would be interesting, and I would have to look to see if there's a way we can adjust like kick return blocking, or even a kickoff distance in the sliders or something. I would have to look. I haven't looked into it. Well, you probably can't, but that'd be something that I would look into probably first. But
well, the idea was to break the tie there, and it looks like we did. For the first time ever, DW has played a game where I was involved, and it looks like he won. So, DW, these 30 seconds are all yours. I understand.
Oh, well, I'm sure this will be edited and clipped out, and you won't hear all of this because Bomber will take out my rant here. But yeah, I'm happy to win this, man. This is pretty awesome here. I got a big game coming up with Faz tonight. I think we're gonna have commentary, right, Dan? Maybe.
Yep, me and Dan will be on the commentary.
Oh, yeah. Watch that. I hate everyone in the league, and that's it.
Whoa, DW, I'm gonna have to edit that out. I can't believe you said that about Faz right before you're about to play him. That just seems like a low blow. I mean, it probably is hereditary, the reason he can't grow hair. I don't think you should have went there, especially in your current condition. But I'll edit that out so that he doesn't hear all the mean and hateful things you said about him. Other than that, it's been an episode of First and Goal. Second Down will now forever be known as the DW Down. And God, I apologize for everything DW said. It probably shouldn't even be on here. I'll edit out most of it. But thanks for being on, guys.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.